Hey guys, it's Bastian time, and since a few of you have been asking, I've decided to go ahead and upload a video that's sort of like a vlog of my trip to E3. I've sort of already covered all the things that happened at E3 and my experiences there, meeting Iwata, seeing Nanuma, seeing Miyamoto so very close. There's a video over on Zelda Dungeon for that, so you can check that out. Over here, I just want to kind of talk about the disaster that really was my trip. Now, don't get me wrong, I had an amazing time at E3, but I almost feel like I might never go again due to how awful this particular trip was. So, to sort of paint the picture, I was supposed to have picked up my name badge, the badge that you use to access E3, the day before on Monday. Monday was my flight to LA. There was supposed to have been enough time from my arrival to get to when not registration, but badge pickup closes, at least an hour, if not more. But of course my flight was delayed by an hour and some minutes, so it was impossible to get to that, which meant that I had to wake up crazy early the following morning, which isn't a problem, I was going to do that anyway, to get to E3 to pick up the badge. But the problem with that is that I really wanted to be in line at Nintendo's media presentation. That's the thing that took place directly after the E3 Direct that you guys probably already all watched. Right after that live stream thing, or it was pre-recorded, let's be honest, right after that, they had a presentation for the media. I wanted to be in line at the head of the line so I could have the best seats and all that stuff. But that wasn't going to be possible because I had to go pick up my badge and get in the line for that. So I'm in the line to pick up my badge at the head of the line because we arrived so crazy early per my plan. So we're waiting in the line, and then I noticed that the sign says attendee badge pickup. And this one guy comes up and he says, "Where is media pickup?" This is about an hour after I've been waiting in this line, and the person who's getting ready to set up all the badges to hand them out says, "Oh no, this is attendee badge pickup. For media badge pickup, you're going to want to go all the way into the other building, across the sky bridge, across the street." And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting in the wrong line for an hour. So we dashed to that other building, which is connected by a sky bridge, but it's a completely other block, and LA blocks are gigantic. There, of course, is a line already started, quite a substantial one at that. I get in that line, we wait and wait and wait, we get to the line, I pull out my cell phone for them to scan the barcode, which is what they advise you to do, but their scanner won't scan the barcode on my phone for whatever reason. Thank goodness I thought ahead and printed them out on paper as well, just in case. So got my badge. Then quickly tried to find the Nintendo thing. Here's the thing about E3. It is enormous. It's the size of 3 city blocks, 3 LA city blocks. It's bigger than you could possibly imagine. And so there's a lot to look for. Nintendo has their own gigantic building-sized section inside of the E3 show floor, and so that's where I thought Nintendo said that their presentation would be, but as I get to that door and I try to explain to the guy, I'm media, I need to get in there, he's watching Nintendo's presentation, he says, oh no, these doors don't open till noon, but Nintendo's presentation is at 10:30. So then, thankfully, some other E3 employee walks past and says, oh, wait, actually what you want to do is go outside of this building, around the building, and Nintendo is waving people in through a back door back there. They have signs. And I was like, okay, that sounds weird, but I'll do that. So I go outside, and it's like there are dumpsters and gigantic trucks with equipment that's probably already been loaded, and it's where all of the E3 employees are outside having their break, and it's like, this doesn't seem right at all. So I go back in and ask a different employee, and she's like, oh no, yeah, you'll want to go through that door, just keep heading down around the building, there in the court will be Nintendo's people waving people in. So I go out, do the long walk around the building. Sure enough, there is a open door and Nintendo people holding signs. So I go there, and the lady says, "Okay, everybody, do you have your QR codes ready?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a QR code." And she's like, "Oh, you've got your E3 badge." Well, never mind, it's fine. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm waiting in the line. There's only about 5 to 10 people there at this point, so that's good because she had mentioned there's only room for 500 people. So I'm waiting for about a half an hour when this other guy comes around and he's like, "Okay, everybody, we're going to start letting people in about a half an hour. If you've got your QR codes ready, that'd be great." And I'm like, again, I'm hearing about this QR code thing. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, "Oh, did you not get an email from your Nintendo rep for printing out the QR code?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. I don't remember anything about that." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to get in." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? All the information I had said that you just go to the media, just goes to this thing at 10:30. He's like, no. Your Nintendo rep will contact you, provide you with the QR code. You print that out, bring it in, and that will let you get in." And I'm like, so there's no way for me to get into this thing that I'm waiting forever to get into? That's really the whole point of me being at E3. And he's like, "Well, we might if not enough people show up, we'll let others in to replace their seats." And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll wait for that. So I'm waiting around for that. Then I bump into Cody Davies, my old friend from Zelda Universe, and Hombre de Mundo. And so we kind of pal around and we go get a bite to eat. And Cody also didn't, neither Cody nor Hombre got the QR codes to get into that thing, and they weren't interested in waiting to try to get in. But I went back to try to get in, but it was not possible. They said that they were completely overfull, so that was disappointing. But we were able to be some of the first to get into the show floor, so that was fine. And just playing those games was beyond awesome. There's so many great games coming out. I've already talked about them, so we'll skip over that. So now, I recorded some footage for both my channel and Zelda Dungeons YouTube channel, and I get to the hotel I'm staying at, and that hotel I specifically chose because it had Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, they said. But as I get in there, I see that they've got a sign that says that the Wi-Fi is X number of dollars a night. So I'm very frustrated by that, but I need to upload these videos, so I edit the videos, pay for the Wi-Fi, and they're like, "Oh, no, your particular room package that you bought has free Wi-Fi, so here's the username and password that you want to type in, and the Wi-Fi signal you want to use is the name of the hotel office." And I try to type that in. There's no process to allow you to type that in, and so I click on the signal. That should pull up a login window, he says. It does not. I open browsers, 2 different kinds of browsers, thinking that that's necessary to have open to make that login process happen. That does not accomplish anything. Go to the office. He says, "Oh, no, any signal but name of hotel office." And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. So I go back upstairs. Again, none of those other signals. There were 3 signals. Name of hotel, name of hotel 1, name of hotel 2. None of those work. None of those pull up any kind of login window. I see that there's another Wi-Fi signal in the area. Click on that. It has nothing to do with my hotel whatsoever. Click on that. It pulls up a login window, which is exactly what this guy says should happen. Try my cell phone. It does pull up a login window on the hotel's signals, but entering the username and password accomplishes nothing. It says it's invalid. So I go back downstairs, explain all of this to him. All he seems to hear is that the username and password were invalid on the cell phone, so he gives me a new username and password. I get back up to my room realizing, well, there's still no way to enter this right username and password because it doesn't pull up a login window on anything except my phone. But anyways, so I try it on my phone. It works, supposedly, but when I try to browse to various web pages, nothing happens. And when I try to use an app that requires internet connectivity, even though it says it's connected to that signal, the app says no internet connectivity. I'm getting really frustrated because it's really late at this point and I need to get it up super early to be able to cover the rest of this stuff. So I go back to the office and I explain this to him, that it's not pulling up anything on my computer whatsoever. It's saying it's connected, but there's no internet. Maybe he just needs to reset his router, and he says, oh, no, it has nothing to do with the router. Nobody else has complained about the internet. I'm sure the internet is fine, but okay, I'll reset the router, give it 10 minutes. So I go back to my hotel room, give it 10 minutes. It's not possible. I go to bed feeling very unproductive because the whole reason why I'm at E3 is to be uploading these videos for you guys, and that's not happening. The following day at E3, they have Wi-Fi for media. It's E3 Media is the name of the signal. They provide you with the password, but everybody, there's like tens of thousands of people there. Everybody's using that Wi-Fi. It would not be possible to upload any videos. So I had to explore downtown LA on day number 2 to try to find some Wi-Fi signal to use. The first cafe I go to, there's a strong Wi-Fi signal, but my computer says that uploading the video is going to take like 900 minutes or something like that. So I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna work. So we go to a food court thing, and their Wi-Fi signal you would think would be worse, but it uploads the videos just as fast as it does here at my home. So that was pretty awesome. So I got the first few videos uploaded that way. I forgot to mention, by the way, that on day 1 of E3, not day 1 in LA, but day 1 of E3, I lost my debit card. That was exciting. Kept checking with Lost and Found. Nobody turned in my debit card. I even specifically kind of remember when I lost it and where I lost it. It was not there. I thought surely somebody would turn it in. Never happened. That was very frustrating, let me tell you. Because my debit card is to a credit union that only has locations here in Oregon, and there's no branches in LA, so I later found out I could have just gone to a different credit union and they would have been able to help me out, but I didn't think of that at the time. Now let's take a brief moment to talk about LA's public transportation system, which is notorious, but everybody says, oh, it used to be terrible and now it's better. I don't know what it used to be like, but oh my goodness, it is not good. Here in Portland, you pay one fare, $2.50. That will get you to anywhere in Portland and the surrounding suburbs for just the $2.50. That lasts for 2 hours. If somehow your bus trip is going to take more than 2 hours, you probably still don't even need to pay additional fare because the bus drivers are usually pretty understanding and just let you on with your little transfer regardless. In LA, it's the exact opposite. It's not based on time, it's based on the particular bus. So you get on a bus, you pay the $2.50, you get off of that bus and wait at a stop to get on the next bus, you pay $2.50, you get off of that bus, get onto the train, pay another $2.50. It's ridiculous to me. But anyways, let me just say that in this day and age, why do these things not allow you to use debit cards? It's mind-boggling to me that they still are archaic and expect you to have that kind of exact change on you. I never have cash on me because this is the age of debit cards. They do, however, allow you to purchase this tap card thing where you can just store a bunch of money on it and then tap it, and that's a better system than just making you use cash, but why not just let you use your debit card? Why not? But anyways, on the way back, E3 is all done, heading back to the airport to fly out of LA after all kinds of horrible misadventures, but some fun at E3. The information that I've got on the Metro app says that I will want to wait right outside of E3, basically a block away, for this commuter express number blah 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 that will take us to a shuttle that is then just a quick jaunt to the airport. Sounds simple enough. To prepare for this particular day, because it's been a disaster all 3 days, we buy day passes that you can store on your little tap card thing. And that way we don't have to worry about paying all these different fares. It's just $5 for the entire day. Sounds like a plan. So the commuter express pulls up, we get on, we tap it with the tap card, and there's a terrible beeping sound, and the guy says, "Oh, do you have day passes on those?" And we're like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, no. Day passes aren't going to work on the commuter express." And we're like, "But why? why won't a day pass work on this? This doesn't make any sense." He's like, "Yeah, no, sorry." So we get off of but we don't have the exact change on us. So we get off of the bus, and I call the number that's on the sign, and I'm like, "So we just tried to get on this thing, we tried to use our day passes." He says day passes won't work on it. What the heck? Why not? And she's like, "Oh, well, what kind of day pass do you have?" And I'm like, "What? There are different kinds of day passes? That doesn't even make any sense." And she's like, "Oh, well, what city are you calling from?" And I'm like, "Los Angeles. That's the only place where this commuter express is. It only goes from outside of E3 to a shuttle for you to board your plane." And she's like, "Oh, well, this is Orange County transportation. You'll want to call Los Angeles County transportation." I still don't understand why Orange County, why Los Angeles transportation isn't in charge of the bus that's in Los Angeles that goes to an airport in Los Angeles. I just can't understand that. It gets crazier because when we finally just bite the bullet and say, "Well, to heck with those day passes, let's just get exact change and get on the next commuter express," which is what we do. We then get to the stop where everybody is getting off. It's the only stop. We get off at that stop and we say, "Oh, where is the shuttle to pick us up?" He says, "Oh, over at that sign." So we go over to the sign, and sure enough, the sign says the name of the shuttle, number of the shuttle, to the airport, which is exactly, it's at the intersection of exactly what the app tells me it needs to be at. I'm feeling fairly confident that we're at the right place. We see a shuttle with that same number heading from the opposite direction away from the airport on that street. Everything seems legit. Time comes around. The shuttle does not arrive. We're kind of stressing out because I didn't allow for enough time between arrival at the airport. I only allowed for about an hour for arrival at the airport to boarding for takeoff, actually. So I know that's not good enough for next time. But finally, about 5 minutes later, we see the shuttle coming down the street towards us. However, we're standing here at this point of the intersection. It turns down the road and does not pass us, does not pass the sign, and turns down the road, and we try to chase after it. It's zooming away, it won't stop for us. So we wait for a second. Another bus comes down the road towards us that stops at that intersection. I run up to that bus because there's a stoplight. I run up to that bus and bang on the window, and the bus driver is like, "Can't open the door." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but I see that you're heading to the airport. I need to get to the airport. Our shuttle that was supposed to pass us turned down a road, and I don't know what to do." And she was like, "Can't open my door, sorry, this isn't my stop." And I'm like, "I know it's not your stop, but I really need to get to the airport. Please just let us on." And she's like, "No, can't open my door." And I explained to her again that the shuttle did not go past us. Where the heck are we supposed to go? And she's like, "Oh, it probably went to the transit center. You'll want to go down this road and around the corner and go to the transit center." And I'm like, "Well, what the heck is the point of this bus stop? It doesn't go past this bus stop? What is up with that?" And so we go to this transit center. We go up to it, and it's the driver says, "I won't be leaving for about 15 minutes. And we need to be at the airport like right then. So I go to it. She's like, "But there's a bus behind me that's also going to the airport. You'll want to check with them." So we go check with them, and she says, "Yeah, I'm leaving in about 5 minutes." So we get on that bus. We get to the airport. LA's airport is gigantic. In Portland, it's like Gate 1, Gate 2, Gate 3. In LA, it's like Gate 1, Gate 1, Gate 1, Gate 1, Gate 1, Gate 1. gate 2, gate 2, gate 2. So if you're trying to walk from gate 1 to gate whatever, it's gonna be a walk. We asked the driver, so which gate is Alaska Airlines? And she says, gate 4. So it's gonna be a while because, you know, gate 1, gate 1, gate 1, gate 1, gate 2, gate 2, gate 2, gate 2, and so on, but that's fine. We get up to gate 3, and this guy gets on and he says, which gate for Alaska Airlines? And she says, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she just told me like 5 minutes ago that it was gate 4, and now she doesn't know. So everybody, 2 people on the bus say, it's gate 3, it's gate 3. Well, we're at gate 3, so we jump off of the bus, head in. It's like, I don't know what, I didn't pay attention to which airline that was, but we asked them where the heck is, because Alaska Airlines is nowhere to be seen. We asked them where the heck Alaska Airlines is. They say, oh, it used to be here in gate 3 about a year ago. Now it's at gate 6. The way you'll want to get there is you can't possibly run around there, and it's a lot. The LA airport makes like an upside down U shape. So you'll want to go through the parking lot structure right across the street, go over that sky bridge, and then you'll want to go into the airport, and that will be gate 6. So we make a mad dash for that. After we cross the sky bridge, that whole section says International Airport and has things for Lufthansa, and that's for, you know, Germany and such. And so obviously Alaska Airlines isn't going to be in where you would want to catch a plane to go to Paris. So we dash all the way back, and we're like, I don't think that's right. It's International Airport. And she's like, I know. It used to be here in the domestic airport, which is where it should be, but for whatever reason, they moved Alaska into the international airport. So we go all the way back. We finally find Alaska. It's 2 minutes until our plane departs. I try to use the little electronic check-in system. It says, no, can't check you in, check with a customer service representative. We go up to the desk, check in with the customer service representative. I should say, by the way, that I already checked in on my app hours before, and it said that my flight was going to be delayed. It never said exactly when it was leaving, but just that it was delayed. So I felt like I had a cushion, even though I was arriving 2 minutes before departure. I felt like I had a cushion. So I asked the customer service representative, is there any possible way to make this flight? I think it's been delayed. And she's like, no, it hasn't been delayed. And I'm like, but my phone said it was delayed. And she's like, no, it hasn't been delayed, never was delayed. And I'm like, okay, well, can I get to the flight? And she's like, you need to get through security and stuff. You're never going to make it. It leaves in 2 minutes. And I'm like, I know, but I really need to get on it. Is there any way we can expedite this? And she's like, no, and in fact, it says it's already left the gate. It's in the air. You can't get on the plane. And I'm like, okay, well, what can we do? And she says, well, you can be put on standby for the next flight. However, that flight is completely booked, so it's pretty unlikely. And I'm like, okay, so what happens then? And she says, well, the next flight after that is the following morning, and you'll be charged a reticketing fee. And I'm like, this is so unfair. I mean, it's not their fault that I didn't get to the plane on time, but it's the city of LA's fault, for goodness sake, at least. So she prints us out our information. We head to the gate. I say to the lady, we're on standby. I hope we can get on this flight. And she says, oh, it shouldn't be a problem. We've actually already had 2 cancellations. Perfect. So she prints us out our boarding pass. We then get in the line to try to get on the plane. The other lady scans our boarding passes, and there's a terrible beeping sound. And she says, oh, well, these aren't valid. And we're like, what? Your coworker just printed those out for us. And she's like, yeah, no, these aren't valid. And I'm like, but she just printed those out. What are we supposed to do? And then the other lady says, oh yeah, no, those aren't tickets. Those are just boarding passes. If it's saying that it's not a valid ticket, you'll have to come back over here and we'll try to figure out why. And this whole time I'm thinking, well, oh my gosh, are they going to make us buy brand new tickets? That would be absurd. So we go over there, and then she's like, oh, okay, yeah, never mind. And then she writes her signature across. And says, okay, get it back in line. So we get back in line, and then the other lady scans it, makes the terrible beeping sound again, I'll remember that beeping sound for the rest of my life. And she says, oh yeah, no, it's not a valid ticket. But then the other lady who wrote her signature says, oh, never mind, they can get on. And the lady scanning is like, okay, I guess, and lets us on. So now I'm back in home sweet home, Portland, Oregon. I have to say, probably will never visit LA again unless Zelda Wii U is announced next year. That's the only thing that's going to pull me back to LA next E3. So if there's any kind of rumor that Zelda Wii U is going to be announced there next year, probably will go. If not, definitely not going. It was a terrible experience, except for actually at E3. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you listened, this was a gigantic episode. See you guys next time. Bye.